When looking for a new job, do not waste your energy. If you use strategy to do this job search and to prepare yourself for all of the phases, from your application up until the interview or assessment centers and so on, your time and energy will be much better utilized and your chances of success are even higher than what you would get otherwise. This might be the difference of you succeeding in your job search now in the pandemic and not succeeding. So stay tuned. Hello you guys, how are y'all doing? My name is Hanchuk and I am a recruiter, and on this channel I talk a lot about internationality, global citizenship, and building up an international career. I do it from a recruiter's perspective, but also from the perspective of someone who's lived it himself. I am Brazilian and I'm working as a recruiter in another country, and I'm also talking from the perspective of someone who's accompanied and kind of been there for expatriates living in Brazil. So on this channel, you have tips and tricks about all of that from the recruiter side, from all of these other sides, and not only about how to get a job, but also how to become more international in every sense, so global citizenship. If you're interested in all of those topics, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, follow me on Instagram, it's Hanchuk, and give a like to this video. As I said in the beginning of this video, it is much better to utilize your energy to build up a job search strategy than to just run rogue and start applying for every single job that you see. Why is that so? Because with a strategy, you can already identify things that are gonna sound very obvious to you, like strengths, weaknesses, your abilities, and so on, that you can bring on an interview when you get there. But you can also improve your application, you can also define what you really want, what companies you'll have a better chance, and even increase your chances by how you make your application. In this video, we're going to talk about strategy, and I want to also bring out to you guys something that I think is going to be very useful for a lot of you. I have made a Excel sheet, or a couple of Excel sheets, a Excel workbook, in which you can actually organize yourself for doing a lot of things. Because when we are in the situation where we have to look for a job, so maybe you just finished university, you're a fresh graduate, and you are looking for this very first opportunity in a time of pandemic where the opportunities are getting lesser and lesser, it is pretty overwhelming. Or maybe you've been laid off, or you just lost your job and you're looking for a new opportunity, pretty overwhelming as well. In order to counteract towards this anxiety that's generated through this situation, I think that organization is a very good tool. Because when we organize ourselves, when we organize our thoughts, everything becomes much more clear and we can better act towards things. So this is thing number one, organization, and I think that this Excel workbook is gonna be key for you to do that, and it's really gonna help you out. Second thing is, this Excel brings a lot of points that are well known. I'm not bringing something out of the notch that nobody knows about, but they're pretty important. And I myself must say that when I was looking for many opportunities, I did not do everything that's inside of here. And if I had done it, maybe I would have increased my chances of success even more. Because it is an invitation for self-reflection, and that's always great. And it's also an invitation of preparing yourself for the opportunities that are out there. I did this from experience, so what helped me out when I was doing stuff, when I was looking for jobs, for new opportunities, and also from the experience from candidates that I've seen. So maybe points that were not really on point from the candidates that I've seen, things that were not as well prepared and that could have been. And yeah, let's jump right into it. So as you can see here, this is the Excel. I've done it in Portuguese first, so this is why there is estratégia here. I'll just change it to strategy. This is the first sheet. So in the first sheet, you define your job search strategy. Here you can see a lot of points, such as a possibility to kind of mark if you've done the topic or not. the topic that we're talking about and some notes about it. So as we see here, there are a lot of things to think about when doing our strategy, but they're very important and they're key in order to achieve the goals that we're really aiming for. Let's jump into the first category. It is self-knowledge. Really try to identify what are your hard skills, what are the things that you can actually bring to your job and that are measurable. Maybe a programming language that you're really good at, or a foreign language skill that you're really good at, your skills as an engineer, as a psychologist, a method that you can bring really well to your job. What are your hard skills? And try to list them, define them, and see what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses. Are there hard skills in your industry that are really necessary and that you're maybe not so good at yet? Identify those as well to see where you're lacking a little bit and where you can compensate for this lack of experience, lack of knowledge, and so on. Next, I want you to think about your soft skills. So what are your strengths and weaknesses from this more personal perspective? So are you a good listener? Are you proactive? And all of those things that come along. So can you negotiate very well? And could be seen as a hard skill as well, but you get the feel of what I'm trying to say here. And for this kind of ability, actually both for your hard skills and soft skills, what you can do is just to reach out to colleagues and do a research of what they say are your main hard skills, your main soft skills, what are your qualities, and what are things that you maybe can improve in yourself. So this would be quite cool if you could do it, I don't know, with 5 or 10 colleagues, maybe with different levels of knowing you. So people who know you very well, people who have been in contact with you only for one project, and even maybe some university professors, university colleagues, just to get this overall image of how people see you. Before you do that though, it is very cool to play a little bit of self-image. So try to do a listing yourself and compare later to see how you see yourself and how others see you. And try to bring it out in an interview as well. So if you're asked in an interview, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, try to say, hey, I've done this exercise that's pretty cool. I've assessed my strengths and weaknesses. I've reflected upon myself. But I've also said, hey, maybe other people have different opinions about that, and I'll gather those opinions and kind of see what are my perceived strengths and perceived weaknesses and work on them as well. So pretty cool exercise. Also, try to think about what are things that I'm proud of, both professionally and personally. It might range from a very broad variety of things. I don't want to restrict anything right here. Just try to list things that you're proud about, and you'll see some strengths out of it as well. And you'll also see situations that you've handled pretty well, that you've mastered. So try to do this exercise pretty broadly. You see how that will help you later. Another thing to think about is if you're looking for an opportunity abroad, so now talking about you're looking for a job in another country, or you've just immigrated, you accompanied your spouse, or you've just decided to change countries, which is all pretty okay. Just think about how can you give your employer security that you're gonna stay in this country and that you're gonna stay in the job and that you're gonna go along with the culture that is already working in the company. If it's a pretty German culture, do you understand what it means in a workplace? Same for a Swiss culture, for an American culture, for a Japanese culture. And if it's a pretty international culture in the workplace, do you have any kind of experience in how you've worked with people from multiple nationalities? What kind of conflicts can come through that? Do you have any personal experiences that you can talk about? And try to really reflect why the employer should trust you, that you're going to stay in this position, in this country, and so on. I've talked about this in another video. I think the video is in Portuguese, so I might do another one later. But it is really key when you're looking for a job abroad to kind of take this kind of concern away from the employer, because then you can say, okay, this person really knows what they're doing. They're not gonna give up soon. So good point to think about. Why this country? Why this city? Why am I going to stay in this company for several years? What do I like and what I don't like about the style of working in this country? Why do I get along with working with people from different countries, and so on. After you do that, try to brainstorm other points about self-knowledge. So things that you've perceived upon yourself that you get well along with, things that are not so good. Try to think about where do you see yourself in a couple of years, and all of those points are really important to do in advance so that you can restrict what you exactly want. Having done that, we're going to go to the point of making a concrete definition of what you really want. You may do it by doing a couple of lists. So try to list out employers and positions that really interest you, a list of industries that interest you, a list of people who can help you get where you want. So this third list, this third point right here is all about networking. So think about people who have achieved what you want to achieve and reach out to them and say, hey, could you maybe give me a couple of tips, or maybe give me some advice of getting where you are? Or it may be also something more practical on getting a job, such as like, hey, I see that you work in this company that I'm really, really interested for. And could you maybe introduce me to somebody who can make this happen? Could you maybe stress how much I'm interested in this role, and so on. So trying to reach out to people that can really help you out on all those things. And you can do it through alumni networks, professors, former colleagues, LinkedIn, clubs, associations, and so on. There are so many possibilities out there that it is almost a sin not to use networking in the search for new opportunities. So another thing you can do is to engage in clubs, associations in your city of interest. And I've had this thing where I was talking this list through with a friend, and this friend told me, hey Marcus, I don't really feel comfortable with that because I feel like I'm using people, and I don't want to do that. And I told her, hey, it's okay to do it because you don't have to use people. We can do it in a transparent way in which you say, hey, I'm moving to, I don't know, Brussels. And in Brussels, I'm looking for a new opportunity. I happen to have been in the Lions Club before in my own country. Now I'm associating with the Lions Club here. I know that we're pretty tied to one another, and I wondered if you might know of any opportunities that are coming across. You're making it transparent. You're not really making any kind of, you're not saying what the person should do or not. They can decide for themselves if they help you out or not. But sometimes reaching out to somebody is what is going to move things forward, and there's nothing despicable about doing so. Think about it, think about people who can help you out, and try to build those relationships. Also add value to them. It's no shame to ask, but also try to bring out something to them, offer something. And this is all about how it works. So you can also engage in professional groups and social media. The Brazilians in Germany are pretty well organized, and I really admire that, because we have groups on Facebook for pretty much any topic. It's how to do a driver's license in Germany for Brazilians Facebook group, or Professional Brazilians Network in Munich, or Professional Brazilians Network in Cologne, or Brazilian networks for whatever, or bureaucracy in Germany. And it's just so amazing how people are well organized in this kind of volunteering communities in social media, and you can definitely make use out of that, in which you reach out to people, you tell your story, you tell what your issues are, and ask for help. It's pretty amazing how many people are out there helping other people out. So you should definitely take a look into that. Search for the profile of people who work in the company that interests you. It doesn't even have to be from your nationality. but this comes through the social media Brazilian network that I was telling you about. And also contact people asking for a recommendation, because in your country recommendations might not be common, as it isn't the case for Brazil, but in some countries they're pretty necessary to prove work experience, such as Germany or the US, for example. Just reach out to some people and ask for recommendations. This kind of gives a extra security to the employer that you're a good worker and that you've actually had this experience before. Another thing to define what you want is look for salaries for the concrete positions that you're interested in and dive right into what is the viable range for what you're looking for. So research many websites that have to do with that. We'll take a look into that later. All right, so once you've done all of this, you should have a better idea of what you really want. So you should have narrowed down the industries that interest you the most, the jobs that interest you the most, what are the main skills that you have that can help you out, what are the main skills that are required for these positions, and how you match that. You can maybe take on a qualification to kind of fill the hole of things that you lack, and you can really stress out the things that you're really good at and that are going to be a differential for you to get the job. Once you have that, this mean job position that you're looking for and all of the requirements and things, and this good vision of yourself, who you are and what you're bringing with you, why you're good, we can jump into our application. Only then, because we have a better vision of how we're doing it. Okay, quick pause here. I've just noticed how much information is in this Excel workbook, and this would never fit in one video. It would, but the video would be really long. So what I've decided to do is to stop here, and I'll upload another video about the topic next week. It's gonna be the continuation of this one. And next week, you'll also have the chance of downloading this workbook and utilizing it. I'm really looking forward to hearing your guys' feedback on the points that have been shown here today and that are gonna pop up next week. I'm looking forward for your comments, new subscribers, give me a like if you've liked this video, because only in this way I'm gonna know that I'm adding value to you. It's been nice talking to you, and I wish you all a great time and a lot of success in your job search. Bye!